Okay, so I am watching Primeval, which is a BBC sci-fi show that came out in I think 2007. It ran for 5 seasons. I, apparently, there's like a season, like an American show offshoot, and maybe more, but I don't know about any of that. This is not going to be one of those lore deep dive whatever. This is going to be me. I just want to talk about Primeval. So that's all it's going to be. And I watched some of it years and years ago, and I don't really remember a whole lot. But then I recently watched season one, which is 6 episodes, because I don't know. It's just that's the meme about BBC shows, right? But I watched season one, and I started watching season two, and I got into I think like the second or third episode, and I just wasn't really liking it. Um, and I had some criticisms of it, and I was looking online for other people talking about Primeval, and there's just not a lot. Like I was looking on YouTube, and there's not a lot. One person did most of season one, and then one episode of season two, and I really liked like his takes agreed with my takes on season two, and then he just did not continue. Um, and then there were some others that were from like you know 8 years ago of people being like me and not really having any sort of professional lore deep dive opinions on stuff, but a lot of those were over like the whole series rather than just individual episodes. So, um, or even just like a season one, then a season two, and it was just a general opinion and not like I don't know. I had been watching Billiam review Lost and stuff like that, and so I was hoping for a bit more. But anyway, so I'm just gonna be some of the. I'm just gonna add to to the trash, I guess, that I didn't want to watch. I did watch one of them that was pretty good, and I stopped when I got caught up to where I was in the show. Um, anyway, this is a long preamble to say that I'm now watching, and I'm watching from the beginning again, so I can talk about it and have my thoughts to prepare for where my real thoughts started to kick in season two. So, anyway, this is, I guess, like the introductory uh, part of it. I'm gonna be making like separate little videos as I watch the show. I'm not again. I started to be like, oh God, I have to start taking notes and I have to format it like this and I have to do all this, and it started becoming this another big project for me. And I have so many other projects going on right now, and I just want this to be a fun, casual thing. So I don't care. That's why I'm just on my couch and not like at my desk with my webcam. This is just me on my couch with my phone in front of the TV. I'm gonna watch a bit and I'll pause and I'll talk about what I'm watching, and then record like a little, however long that video is, and I'll probably like combine them all together later, or I don't know. I don't know my whole plan, but the point is, it's gonna be very casual, and I'm not gonna fucking worry about turning this into another huge project. So, anyway, if you like Primeval and are starved for content, that's what I'm going to be doing, at least probably this weekend. But you know what? Actually, I'm going to end this here. Have a section because I did start watching the episode again, and I paused whenever I had thoughts. But I'll end this here. Have a section. You guys probably won't notice anything except maybe a changed camera angle, or I don't know. But that's what this is. So yeah, I guess this might be good like chapter markers as I just write down how long each section was, and then it's a chapter marker. So I'm literally 2.5 minutes in. Well, 2 minutes and 40 2 minutes 45 seconds exactly into the first episode, and I've already stopped. I already have things to say, which I guess isn't too weird because it starts with its cold open, and then it has its um, the credits, the intro sequence, whatever, and the theme and then now the episode proper. And I don't have too much to say about the start. It's just like an engaging mystery, like what the fuck happened? And then oh my god, this is 8 years later. Oh no, what the fuck is going on? Good pilot episode shit. Um, but then we get to um, we see the professor and his assistant, and we see Connor. And I'm just like, I know that this is like the first episode, like the pilot or whatever, so like maybe like the characterizations might not be all down, but like Connor, at least for the first two seasons, is just this weird guy, right? He's a weird, out of touch nerd. We're not meant to take him seriously. The show has to go out of the way to justify why he's still there when no one fucking seems to like him. Um, it's a lot. Like, obviously, we find him charming as the audience, especially from 2007. I would not find him charming if he showed up in a show today, probably. But the fact that he's Andrew Lee Potts really does a lot for him. I don't know if you guys have seen Sci-Fi's Alice miniseries where he's the Hatter. Just go look up Andrew Lee Potts Hatter or Sci-Fi miniseries Hatter. Um, he's fucking hot, is what I'm saying. Uh, but anyway, he's just like this weird, out of touch nerd in this first one, and he's coming to the professor with his conspiracy theories, which I haven't gotten to by 2 minutes 45 seconds. But he ends up approaching the professor. And the professor's like, "Oh, you're one of my students. Why don't I recognize you?" And he's like, "Well, you don't really show up to the seminars." And for one, I'm an American. I don't know, United States American. I don't know anything about um, UK schooling. Like, I mean, not, you know, grade schooling either, much less university or anything. So I don't know. Hell, I barely know how common it might be in America for professors not to show up to seminars. But like this professor isn't showing up to his own fucking classes and is being like, just like, "Oh, I don't recognize you." Oh, and then like he's called out for not showing up to his classes, and his assistant gives him like a look, and I don't know what that look means. And I don't know if that's supposed to be like, "Well, yeah, you aren't showing up to your classes," or, "Oh, well, this guy's kind of a freak, huh?" Um, but yeah, why isn't he showing up to his classes, and why does it seem to be framed like it's Connor's problem for caring, or it doesn't get brought up again, like, ever? And I know that's just part of the trope. If they set it up as like Connor goes to school and sees his, and like goes to his professor for this conspiracy theory, and like we go to the school a couple more times, but um I think especially after season one, it's not really relevant. I'll have to finish season two, but I don't, or go back to season two. I don't think it ever shows up in season two. But it just seems like such a thing. Like, why include that of the professor being like, "Hey, why the fuck are you talking to me? Oh, you're a student. Why don't I recognize you? Oh, because I don't go to my own seminars." I don't know. Connor gets the short end of the stick a lot, and sometimes he deserves it. Don't get me wrong. That character is meant to get the short end of the stick a lot, but sometimes it's really, really not deserved. And I just don't understand why they set it up like this. Like, I just feel like there'd be other ways to set up that Connor is a little obsessive weirdo to not be taken seriously without also outing the professor as not going to his own seminars. I like that point of like, that just seems like that could be a personality flaw. Maybe not personality flaw, but like some sort of character arc there, that not all about the seminars, but about like, in the 8 years since his wife went missing, he stopped showing up to lectures. He started just disconnecting from a lot, and he needs to connect again, and da 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 da. but it's just nothing. It's just nothing. And I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it's the first time in the show we see Connor and he gets dismissed, which sets up that context, or not context, but sets up that trope, that it sets up the pattern that we're going to see of Connor says a thing and gets dismissed. And a lot of the time it makes sense that he would get dismissed because he fucking loves conspiracy theories. He believes some really out there shit, and he just, you know, if if um if you keep saying everything is true, eventually you're going to find the one that is. And he did find it. And I don't know. It's just I don't get it. I don't get it. I've spent longer talking about the first 2.5 minutes of the show. Like it's I just don't get it. I don't get the point of this at all, and it kind of bugged me the first time I watched it. Um like a week ago, and it's bugging me again now. Like, but this is me criticizing a show that came out in 2007. It's what's going to happen. But I like a lot of the framing and a lot of the stuff that happens in season 1. So it's just funny that the first framing with 3 of the 4 main characters, well, debatable how many, I guess 5 or 6 main characters, depending on who you count as main characters. But like 3 of them, like at least half of the main characters, the first interaction, and I'm like, this is a bad setup to their interaction. Um, so that's that, and I'll continue on. And I don't think I'll have anything to say about the conspiracy theory stuff, um, for a while. I don't know. This might be the most I talk about this whole episode. Okay, actually, real quick. So I'm actually at the part where they're in Professor Cutter's office, and he throws some shit in the trash, and Connor's like, "Oh, that's my dissertation," and so he's like, "Oh, my bad," and like picks it up. And it's like, yeah, it's about how like all life on Earth is derived from alien organisms. Shit, it goes back in the trash. That's not important. What's important is the next line, which is he just fucking Professor Cutter just fucking picks up a fossil off of his desk, and it's like, you know what this is? A fish? Yeah, yeah, and like says the type of fish, and it's like, and this jumped like 70 million, like it was gone for 70 million years, and suddenly showed back up. Like I'm interested in what Darwin doesn't answer, and like it's obviously like a setup for the whole like time dimension thing where these anomalies keep popping up in various places and bringing creatures from different times. And it's like, oh, okay, so like, is that what happened? Is the creators of the show heard about that phenomenon, assuming it's real? I didn't look it up, and said, oh, what if it was a time anomaly and it actually is from that 70 million years ago, and then it showed back up, or whatever. But like it's just out of nowhere. There's no reason. It was like a scene cut where lines cut. There is no reason for that explanation. Um, and then except for to prompt Connor to go, "That's why I was wondering if you saw this." And it's a fucking shitty newspaper. That has some dumb conspiracy in it. Monster Hook or Truly Beastly is the name. It's on the screen right now. You're not seeing my screen. You'd have to see so much of my garbage living room. And you're fine just seeing the garbage behind me. But it's just so. What was that fish got to do with anything? Why'd you just start talking about it? You know where you could talk about that? In your seminars. Um, it's just very funny. It's very funny. And so, yeah, now Connor's about to be dismissed for showing up with a hoax. And then it's like, oh, well, it was in the Forest of Dean. That's not too far. Um, and just like, I don't know. It's fine. It's a fine line. It's a fine setup. And of course, that's when assistant Steven starts saying shit. It's just so. Also, what kind of assistant is Steven? Like, later in the series, we just see him, like, be good at guns and be hot. Is that what he is? Is he good at guns and be hot assistant? Is that sort of assistant a fucking paleontology professor needs? I don't know. For this show, it is. I honestly can't believe I've wanted to talk this much and we're only like 10 minutes in. But I love how goreless it is. Like, not that I'm expecting a BBC show to have like a bunch of gore or anything. It's just very funny because like they go to um the sighting and talk to the guy, and there's big old claw marks in it, and then Steven like touches and is like, "Oh yeah, this is blood. Wow." But he also like picked up just what's supposed to be a dead chicken, but it's like a whole chicken. Like, it's not ripped apart or anything. It's a whole chicken. And then Abby, who we're also introduced to from the zoo, is heading out there, which that whole thing is kind of weird because it's like, oh, these are letters from people who want the zoo to pick up their exotic pets, but like that's not what the kid wants. I don't know what the kid wants or what the kid's mom wants. It doesn't seem that they want the lizard to be gone. I don't know. It also doesn't make sense that she's bringing the lizard out to the forest with her, but that's fine. I don't care about that. Anyway, so she and the kid are out in the forest and they see an entire cow in the tree. But like again, like it's obviously a dead cow. It's got its tongue sticking out. That's how you know it's dead. Besides the fact that it's in a fucking tree. But there's no gouge marks. There's no nothing. It's just like there's no blood on it, right? Blood can be on a truck. Blood cannot be on an animal. I can't remember if this holds up. I think it does. I don't think there's like blood on anything ever. Like, if anything dies, it's usually like swallowed whole or it just dies. It's just very funny. The cow in the tree just really, it just stood out to me the first time, and it stood out to me again. I mean, I guess I knew it was coming this time, but yeah, it's just in the fucking tree. No blood. It's just dead. It's just a generically dead cow. The big monster just like bonked it on the head. It's just a dead cow. I'm really talking about this way more than I thought. Because right after, I mean, I guess it makes sense. This is the introductory episode. We're finding all the characters. So we have fucking holy sexual harassment Batman, or like this fucking woman just walks up to a dude at a bar and like kisses him on the lips. No prompting. He has no idea who she is. She knows who he is. It's so funny because like because she's doing it to get away from like this other dude who's like, oh yeah, I told this other dude that you were my boyfriend to get away from him. That other dude was like, hey, why don't we go get a drink after this? Go get a drink. You're in a bar right now. Right now you're in a bar. Also, Cutter, why are you in a? I mean, I guess you're sad because there's a mystery near where your wife died or went missing or whatever happened to her. That's like whatever you know about it. And so there's a bar nearby, so you went to it. But also, why is she in the bar? Like, I don't know, maybe if I watch 5 more seconds, I'll remember why they're both in the bar, especially why she is. But, like, she's from the Home Office, which is a government thing. I don't know anything about the UK. It's a government thing. Um, just, hey, I'm gonna smooch this person who I know, but he doesn't know me. And that's fine, because this is 2000... Hell, they could get away with it now. It's because sexual assault and harassment can only be done to women by men. No other way, obviously. Okay, so she's there just to not do her job. But she knows who Cutter is. And it's like, can you make a statement saying it's not a wild animal? He's a paleontology professor. He's a paleontology professor, right? Like, why would he? I don't understand. Like, I know it's like plot contrivance, but like, oh, sorry. I couldn't do it with my other hand. I got pizza on my other hand. That's why there's stuff on my. Listen, this sucks. This sucks. This video sucks. I don't care. I don't care if it sucks. It's a good video. Me, the video I'm making, not the video I'm watching, which is also good and apparently sucks. Listen, I like this. I like this, especially the first season. I haven't finished watching the rest of it, but I like it. Whatever. And then we get Connor fucking like invents Wikipedia for. He says non-extinct vertebrates, but that doesn't make sense because it's for the extinct ones. But like, it can't just be for the extinct ones because he's bringing it up because there's some wild animal loose, right? But like, it's not for non-extinct ones. Is it? Because they use it for extinct animals. Like, anyway, he has a fucking thing for all vertebrates, basically, just every vertebrate. He made a Wikipedia for it in 2007, and it's constantly updating. So I guess he has other people updating it too. I'm not really clear on that. I don't think it needs to be clear. It's just he's the one with the resource. Even though if it's constantly updating, then is it a website that everyone else could just look at, or is it like his thing on his computer that just like pulls information from the web, or what? Because like him having this is later used as the reason that he stays on the team is because he has all this information, like he knows the shit. But maybe it's just because he has so much information in his head that he can narrow down the search pretty quickly. But like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that he said non-extinct vertebrates because that's very much not true. Um, but I don't know. And then fucking like Steven calls him sad for having this database. I'm sorry. You're the assistant to a professor of paleontology. You're a fucking nerd. The professor's a fucking nerd. If you guys aren't nerds, why are you in this like incredibly academic like specialization? Like, you're not doing anything practical with it. I mean, you're about to, but you're not doing anything practical with it, right? Like, you should think that's cool as shit. You should think it's cool as shit that someone made a database of all vertebrates, every one of them. That's fucking cool. And you're a nerd. Like, do you understand? This is just the show's many attempts to show, like, Connor is the weird nerd geek that doesn't have a life and everyone else is, like, a normal person that just happens to know things. I don't know. I get the dynamic. They just don't set it up well, and then I'll get to what they do fucking later on about Connor's nerd status. It's just like, do you guys know what a nerd is? And do you guys know who should be nerds? Because it's these guys. A paleontology professor and his assistant. Those are nerds. Those are them. We have a quick glimpse to the kid, Ben, who leaves Abby behind and escapes. I mean, he found out the anomaly. I don't care about that. But and he goes back to his house after cutting himself on a plant, and it's so funny because he sits on his beanbag and then like stares at the blood drop on his hand, and then suddenly it's night and he's still on his beanbag, staring at his hand. And I think it was I don't think it was supposed to be implied that he fucking like blacked out for hours staring at his hand. I think it was supposed to just be like right after, but then like the fucking dinosaur shows up like immediately. Like immediately, just like I smelled the tiniest drop of blood and I'm there. And what really fucks me up about this, I mean, besides how his last weapon that Ben goes to is a lightsaber, which is kind of cute. But like the mom comes up after like the dinosaur finally leaves and is like, "Hey, what the fuck? I want this mess cleaned up. What the fuck did you do?" Like, I'm sorry, you have foundational damage to your window. Like, your window is not there anymore. It's broken from the outside. Like, the dude's like, how? What do you think your kid did to fuck up the window that much and his bunk bed? What do you think happened? And also, how did it take you that long? And how did you not hear the dinosaur? And I know it's a funny gag. He's like, oh, there's a mess. I want you to clean it up. Blah 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 blah. But that would make sense if like he had found the little tiny flying lizard and it flew around and caused a mess and then hid, and the kid was the one left to take the blame, not a fucking big ass dinosaur broke its head through the window, slamming its head around, damaging the window frame, and like fucking destroying everything in the room. That is not. I don't know. Poor kid gets some heat because dinosaur breaks into his room. I really like that they have just this massive herbivore hanging out. Like it's clearly not like the dinosaur that's causing all the fuss. It's just like this guy that just come to hang out and is like eating plants and shit. And it's a good way for Abby to meet up with the others. It's a good way for Nick Cutter to show off that he knows shit about animals. Um, I looked it up. He's a professor of paleozoology. So he shows off about animals. It's a good way for Abby to show that she knows stuff about animals because he describes features of the big herbivore and then said probably some type of an apsid, and Abby's like a tortoise. So like it's just okay. Well, Abby does know her stuff. That is like a very small, like it doesn't mean that she knows everything, but it shows that, and then she is more familiar with their behavior, like reptile behavior. So she tells them like, "Hey, stop doing that. You're making it nervous." Blah 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 blah. So it's a really good setup for stuff. Um, I don't know. I just really appreciated that. Okay, for one, Ben the kid steals every scene. He's just such a good actor. I I don't know who that actor is. It's been um 15 years since this came out. So I wonder if he's still acting, if he's like an established actor cuz he's very good in this. We had the school scene. I'm not like summarizing absolutely everything that's in here. I'm just doing my thoughts. So now they're going uh into the anomaly, Cutter and then Ryan, a Gulf War vet. It's funny. I don't know, like my education's so American centric that it's funny. It's like, oh, other countries also were in the Gulf War. My dad was in the Gulf War. He was a Gulf War vet. He was actually born while he was like right as he landed in Kuwait. But anyway, that's not the point. It's just funny. I'm just American centrism, whatever. Anyway, point being, I love this setup here with them going into the anomaly, and then they have a mystery of there is an old human camp, like modern humans. It's got a fucking Heath bar in it, and that's a neat setup. It's a neat payoff. I'm not being super strict about spoilers, but I'll wait to talk about this one later. But but then they find a skeleton of someone, and they see um and then they find this camera case next to it, and it has HC, and uh, Nick Cutter is like, "Ugh, Helen Cutter," and he's like sadly holding the camera, and then Ryan's like, so the skeleton's her, and then like Cutter looks like he's surprised. Oh yeah, I should look at the skeleton, and then he fucking counts the ribs. He counts the skeleton's ribs. It's like, no, this is a dude. Like it was it's funny, but it's honestly a little comforting to me that that is just a widespread myth and not just because I was raised like evangelical. So it's just he count nope, that's not my wife because this is a guy because I counted the ribs. uh I mean, like, fucking skeleton science isn't even like exact anyway, but like there's just so much about it. There's so much. Like, what they could have done is like she had had like a broken arm or something, and he was able to look at the arm and go like, that's not her. She would have had like a fracture right here or something. But they don't. They have him do the myth and do the rib count, which is so funny. Do what like yeah, it's just again, I'm just glad that it wasn't just because I was raised insanely evangelical. I say insanely because I wasn't raised evangelical that we just had that myth. Um, what he has confirmed is that the skeleton is not Marilyn Manson, but it's just that's it. I just wanted to mostly talk about that. It's just very very funny that they just have that this fucking professor paleozoology fucking count the ribs.